Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video on what is happening across the tropics. And in this video we will be taking a look at what is going on in terms of the tropical wave that is making its way across the Caribbean, and we'll also be looking at how much rainfall is expected across various areas and overall just a view of what is happening out there. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you never miss an important update. And to show support for the channel, you can leave a like on this video. Alright, and so let's go ahead and kickstart things with that view of the North Atlantic right now. Let's return to that imagery, and we're seeing here that we have what is left of Nicole starting to make its way out of North America. We have a trough that is located in that region, and that is why there is so much shower and thunderstorm activity right within that area. And there is another trough that is outside the Caribbean right in that region, and then of course we see some activity along the intertropical convergence zone, but drifting much more to the west, we're seeing that there is some activity taking place in the Caribbean. So let's take a closer look at the region, and we are seeing here that we have all this shower and thunderstorm activity in the vicinity of Venezuela, Colombia, as well as the ABC Islands. So in terms of Cuba, Jamaica, and even extended into the Bahamas, we definitely see some activity here. And so there is a probability that there are some areas that are experiencing some showers and thunderstorms as a result of all this activity. And so the tropical wave, the axis of the wave extends from near the Dominican Republic down into Venezuela, and so we have all the shower activity in the vicinity of that tropical wave. But as for the rest of the Caribbean, for most of the Lesser Antilles, things are pretty clear right now, maybe just some passing clouds at times. Across most of Hispaniola, same story, as well as Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and even going into Trinidad and Tobago. So there is a definite break in all the shower and thunderstorm activity that was persistent there for quite some time. And then looking to the Western Caribbean to the Central American countries, not too much going on. So all these areas here are in the clear. It's likely that most persons are waking up to bright sunny skies. And so let's take a closer look at all this activity that is happening along the axis of the tropical wave. And so here we're seeing all of this, and we see that there's definitely some shower and thunderstorm activity likely taking place right now across Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, which are the ABC Islands, of course. And so guys, extensive periods of heavy rainfall can result in flash flooding. So if you're in any of these areas, if you're in the ABC Islands or other areas that are being impacted right now in terms of all the heavy rainfall in the region, it's best to take the necessary precautions and do not take any unnecessary risks. And let's take a look at how much rainfall is expected for the different areas. And so we're going to be looking at what the GFS is showing for the total accumulated precipitation. And the different colors represent how much is expected in inches. And this is between now and Monday, the 14th of November. So this is not the total that is expected in just one day, but rather between now and then. And so as we look at the green shades, we're seeing that it is under an inch of rainfall mainly, as well as the darker blue shades, and then headed to the lighter blue shades and that lilac shade, we're seeing between 1 and 2 inches of rainfall. And so we want to stop right there. So as we go up in these colors, as we head to darker shades of purple, going to burgundy, that is more rainfall that is expected. And we see that between now and Monday, the GFS has it that most of the South Caribbean is going to be experiencing quite a bit of rainfall, likely over an inch, maybe between an inch and 2 inches of rainfall in total. We're not seeing too much that is expected for areas such as Jamaica, Cuba, Hispaniola, and parts of Puerto Rico, but definitely for the South Caribbean, for parts of Central and South America, as well as the ABC Islands. And as for the Euro, similar story here. So Euro is expecting most of that rainfall for portions of Central America, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, as well as Northern South America, including Colombia and parts of Venezuela, and of course the ABC Islands. And the model is also showing an increase in rainfall for sections of the Lesser Antilles, mainly the Leeward Islands. So that is what is on the horizon in terms of the expected rainfall between now and Monday. So nothing major, as I said, is anticipated. And in terms of the hurricane season now, so there are no disturbances out there at this time, but as I highlighted in my previous update video, the Climate Prediction Center highlighted the Caribbean, the Western Caribbean, with a low chance for something possibly developing between November 16th and 22nd. So let's see if something is really going to be popping up in that region, but that wouldn't be too uncommon because, I mean, during the month of November, tropical cyclones typically originate from the South Caribbean and make their way up to the north, northeast, northwest, and that wouldn't be too surprising. But I mean, this season, especially headed to the second half of the season, has been quite a bit. There has been quite a bit of activity after seeing nothing in August and nothing for most of July. So the season just ramped up as we approached the peak, and it's been quite a rough time for many persons, especially those that were directly impacted by tropical cyclones such as Fiona and Ian and other storms as well that caused some significant damage. So many persons are of course hoping that the season is going to be over with, and it will very, very soon, because I mean, we're approaching the time when conditions get too hostile for us to see any development across the North Atlantic. But nevertheless, chances are not completely negligible for us to see something actually pop up. And this November is definitely more active than last year, because last year there was only one storm that developed in October, no storms in November, and here we're seeing activity October to November. So in terms of the numbers, it's closer to an average season, but in terms of the number of named storms, slightly above average. And then in terms of the number of hurricanes this season, we've had 8 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes, and so these are very close to being average numbers here. Definitely not as active as 2021 and 2020. Those seasons were definitely producing storms that were record breaking, but none of that really happened this year except for storms like Ian that caused absolute catastrophe across sections of the Caribbean and also the US, especially the state of Florida. And of course, this isn't finalized as yet because we still have around 2 weeks or so left in the month of November, and the season officially concludes on the 30th of the month. And of course, guys, as you're going to be heading into the next several weeks and even in the off-season period, I'll be keeping you updated on what is happening out there, because sometimes it's not even a tropical storm. It can be a trough that is inducing a lot of rainfall across some areas, or that is expected to induce a lot of rainfall. And so I'm going to be keeping you updated so you never miss what is happening out there and what could potentially be happening in your area. And so that is really it for this update video on the tropics. And if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and you can also share thoughts there. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.